Okay, first of all, we have to take off those latches, I would say. And the way to do it is I like to put a brush pretty much, in the stable position so I can work on it. But first of all, before we open that, we're gonna check the filter. And checking the filter is right here inside of this jet, and we're gonna use a screwdriver. I think it might be 8 mm head, but that comes part of the set. So let's do it. So we're gonna unscrew it and see if there is any dirt, and we see that the filter is not that bad, but there are some debris which are slowing down the water flow. So it's always good to start with a cleaning of the filter, and making sure that this part of the brush has been checked and eventually cleaned. So it's not that bad, only I don't see any sand, only some kind of weird black, I don't know, it's probably some kind of piece of wood. So that happens, especially when you clean the ground mounts and the hoses are on the ground. So that happens. However, I like to, a little bit, not the thing. It's clean, so obviously this customer was really taking good care of it. So again, I'm gonna check the filter for any debris, or there might be actually some holes, which would be really critical because that filter is preventing sand getting into the transmission. So if there would be a hole, the sand would obviously get in and might permanently damage the transmission. So filter is good. What I'm going to do also is I'm gonna grease it a little bit. It's always good, to put a little bit of grease. So I'm using this type of white lubricant. So, and all what it takes, just a little bit on the thread right here. So that's all what we need, and we're gonna put a filter back. So that's the first step what I'm doing, always checking the filter. I hate the work on the transmission when there is some kind of sand or something. So I do know the part has been checked, it's clean, and I'm ready to open the transmission. So to open the transmission, I'm gonna use the pliers and Allen wrench to open it. So I like to put everything in this transparent bowl, so all the parts are staying together. So it's good to be organized when we are in such a delicate process of fixing transmission at the C-brush. Okay, so bolts and nuts, they've been released. Now these things comes very easily off like that, and actually this part prevents these aluminum housing to spin out and open the transmission while cleaning. So it's a very clever system. So that thing, that's latch or whatever it is basically blocking the whole housing and preventing, like I said, from opening, because there is a tranny is running and axle is spinning, so there are some forces, and eventually that might get, if this is not if this is not tied or secured, then eventually this part might get separated from the aluminum head. Okay, so now we have now the head is pretty much ready to get open. So we are using this wrench like I said earlier, it's a 30 millimeter with this system, which is reliably opening the aluminum housing without damaging it. Don't use any pliers, just use this tool. This is the best one, which is really working. And the way to do it, so we put it like that. Make sure it's right there, and now I'm trying to open it. So it's the same way I'm going to open the second side. Okay, so and now the transmission is ready to get open. So always make sure the jet right here is kind of pointing down. So because left side has a square, while the right side has a, we call it pentagon. It's actually like 5-sided part of the stainless steel rod, which actually holds the rollers with the bristles. So now we can open the transmission and find out what has actually happened. It's a little bit water coming from the transmission, so that's no problem. So that's why I have this napkin right here. So here comes the right side with the turbine. So I'm gonna check the head, and you can see actually there are some debris. From the transmission already in that part. So I'm gonna make sure that that thing gets removed. So that's very rare that stuff makes it right here. Usually it's deep in the transmission. However, this head is kind of clean, so I'm gonna put it aside.